Welcome to the Short Score, your weekly update of roping news from around the industry, where you can find the latest on the sport from the ProRodeo ranks to the jackpot world. I'm Taylor Vollen, and I'm your host. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Short Score. It's Taylor. This past weekend was a big weekend in the world of ProRodeo, with the Cinch Playoffs having taken place in Puyallup, Washington. I'm sure you all know this by now because I'm sure you guys have all read our numerous articles on the playoff series and tuned in to last week's episode of the Short Score where I kind of broke it down for you guys. But in case you didn't know, Puyallup paid $13,000 a man to the winners of the four-man round alone, and the top four from Puyallup advanced to the Governor's Cup in Sioux Falls at the end of the month, where there's a purse of $122,222 per side. So, like I said, Puyallup was a big deal with major world standings implications. And today on the Short Score, I have the winners of Puyallup. And it's a team I feel like I've been getting to bring on quite a bit this last half of the year. And that's none other than Tyler Wade and Wesley Thorp. They were 4.9 seconds in the four-man round on Sunday to take the win and solidify their spot in Sioux Falls. Congrats on the big win.
Thank you.
That's quite the payday, almost $20,000, right?
Yeah, it was good. I think it paid 13, and then we won maybe 3 leading up to it.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we won Lewiston too, so that was a pretty good week.
When did you guys go to Lewiston? When was that?
We went on Tuesday in the slack.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, it was by far the best team roping in the slack I'd ever seen.
Really? Yeah.
4-2 was winning 6 out of like 14 teams have gone.
That's awesome, though. It's cool to see that, I feel like. For us, at least.
Yeah, it was literally 6 first-place runs back to back to back. So you couldn't – I mean, everybody was so close in time. It was literally like you couldn't tell who wanted who wasn't going to.
Gotcha. Well, so you said you guys are on the road home now, right?
Yeah, we're headed to the house. Or headed to Abilene and then home.
Gotcha. So no Pendleton?
No. Skipping it.
What prompted that decision?
We had it made when the books opened, and we were going to have to leave a rig here, send a rig to Abilene, and fly back, and then fly back if we did good, and leave somebody with the rig for a week, and maybe borrow a horse, because I don't think any of mine would stand up on the grass. I think they move their feet a lot. So I was worried. We were kind of decided it was a better plan just to go to Abilene than home.
Makes sense. That's probably got to be kind of nice to be able to make that decision too, knowing it's not going to kill you guys.
That's the first time I ever skipped it. The grass don't really. It hasn't bothered me.
Yeah.
Or nothing. Wesley's the same deal. We've grown up pasture roping and doing branch rodeo and the Neesmith deal and whatever. So we kind of like it, but it's just a long ways from home and an extra week.
That makes sense, yeah.
So,
okay, you guys were up first set in Puyallup, right?
Do what?
You guys were up in the first set at Puyallup, correct?
Yeah, Thursday, Friday.
So I'm just assuming that you guys stayed there till Sunday, or did you guys go anywhere else?
No, we stayed there. There wasn't much left to go to.
I didn't really figure, but I wasn't sure. How do you kind of like that, being able to kind of have that day to just kind of watch and that whole format as a whole, I guess?
I like it pretty good. They don't you can't pick when you're up. They go off of what place you were in the standings. Mm-hmm. So like number 1 in the standings got to go Saturday, and number 2 was last on Thursday and Friday, and so it's a little bit of back and forth, but they did it as good as they could. They picked the steers. The slow ones went in the first set, and the faster ones went in the second set. So at least there wasn't like back. The steers were relatively pretty dang even. They were really good in our set. They were really slow, but they were good. So
gotcha. What's the start like out there at Puyallup?
Like the setup?
Yeah.
I think the barrier is a foot shorter than the box. And, if the steer leaves, it's really easy. It's really simple. Just kind of go with, I call it the neck rope around the end of the gate, the middle of his neck or whatever. But if they don't start, it's tricky because it seems like if they don't start and then take off, you don't have enough arena to really go catch them. And if they come left, you're really in a bind. So it could literally be a walk in the park or one of the hardest places to go rope a steer at.
Yeah.
It's true. If he's medium straight or maybe even to the right, you got all day to do whatever and don't have to think much. But if he runs and doesn't start or something, like, some of those guys in the second set had a tough go, and it is hard. And I've felt that because I've done it plenty of times.
Mm-hmm. It does look like a small arena. I wasn't sure, though, if that was just the TV making it look funny or not.
No, they didn't zoom in. I think that was all it had. So.
Oh, Lord. Do you feel like then being in that first set gave you guys an advantage, or not really?
I feel like we were far enough in the standings that we got to go towards the end in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. But at the same time, they just reversed the order, so we had to go second to go second out in the second round.
Yeah.
And Tanner and Pat was first out and was freaking 8-6 on 2. So we were 9-9 on 2. We were winning second after 2 teams, and they only took 4.
Yeah.
And there was 5 other clean runs that could have caught us. And so it's a hard place to catch, and that's why I think that, the times will be fast, and then there won't be a lot of times sometimes.
Right.
Because it's literally, even if you just have to catch, you don't have enough arena just to go catch him in.
Mm-hmm. That makes
sense. So that's one of those where you kind of got to be aggressive even if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So
I see what you're saying. So what was
it's probably harder to be 9 in that arena than it is to be 5. So.
What was kind of the overall game plan you feel like there? We talk about it a little bit, but what we've stuck to is whatever we said we were going to do, we did. There was no surprises. I'm liable to tell somebody I'll just go catch and I don't go catch or whatever. Like, sometimes when I nod, the game plan goes out the window, but I told Thorp that, we knew the steers in the first set was good. And every time a steer was slow, I told him I was going to get close. So he could just throw fast, and we could use the momentum that way. That way I wasn't sloppy and loose slack everywhere and trying to finish in the corner. And then when the only steer we had that run was in the 8-man, and I told Thorp, I was like, we're going to have to be aggressive just to catch this one. And that was the only steer I had to reach on, and he was probably one of the stronger end of them for sure. Right.
And then we come back to the finals, and every steer loped. And I told him we had the same plan going back to, I'm going to get close, and you throw wherever you think you need to throw. Yeah, but honestly, he's so good. Sometimes it's better just to set him up and let him be the quarterback. And that's never been my approach before, but I've always kind of done it, but I don't know. I feel like it works better sometimes, especially our run. Just let him do his deal. He heals so good and he heals fast. It's easier just to get out of his way and make sure I'm turning them for him.
Makes sense. Were you riding spur there, or were you riding something else?
I rode spur.
What was kind of the decision to ride him there?
Honestly, it's a tougher decision to find out where not to ride him. Because I try to give him a break every once in a while, and then I miss on the other horse or don't do a good a job, whether it's pulling, facing, scoring, whatever. It's like, golly, every time it pays so much. If it pays good, better be on him, because he just gives me a good go every time, and it's literally up to me. My horse is giving me a great throw, and my partner don't hardly miss, so it's literally just on me if we're going to win or not. So that's it's a little more nerve-wracking when it's like that too, because you got nothing left to blame.
I was going to say that's a lot of pressure too, though.
Yeah, but with a good horse, it gives you a throw every time, and it's just kind of just go rope the cow and you should win something.
Right. Well, and I realized that after I asked that I think every time we've talked, you rode Spur. So that should have told me that you probably had him there.
I rode, I think I've probably rode him at 60 at least of the 75 rodeos. Mm-hmm. I've tried to give him a break in between, and if we flew or did something, but if it pays good, it's hard not to have him there.
Right.
Especially he feels sound, and he's got a lot of energy anyway, so you don't feel too bad taking him everywhere, because when you unload him out of the trailer, it's like he's ready to go.
So I think it was you said in the Cowboy Channel interview afterward that it's just been a really blessed year, and it seems like it has been. I know that I've gotten to talk to you guys quite a bit the last half at least. Kind of tell me how you do feel about the year that you've had, and to be locked in for the finals, to have that kind of breath of fresh air almost.
I guess everything I've always learned from experience, the good and the bad. And I've had a lot of rough goes out here, mm-hmm. and a lot of bubble years, I guess you could say, where I was on the bubble. I've never really had it made, sewed up, but maybe once before Puyallup, mm-hmm. or close, I always need to win a little bit at the end, or mm-hmm. I need to win a lot. I've been on the bubble like 3 times at Stephenville, the last rodeo of the year, needing to place and missed every single time. Mm-hmm. And I've won Stephenville 3 times, but I never won it when I needed to.
Oh, no.
So, I know what that's like, and just to not have that pressure, and just, I don't know, it's kind of been the year we've been waiting for anyways. It was rough there for a couple weeks, and that was the best attitude we've ever had towards it, and I was going to just, I guess you can say, I'd seen a quote the other day that said, live by faith, not by sight. Mm-hmm. And that's so true. It's like when it's going bad and you have a bad attitude, you just kind of feels like you lose the faith a little bit, like you're not ever going to win again, or mm-hmm. it's not going to go your way or whatever, and just having faith that it is going to work out. And then sticking with that so hard when it went bad, and then it truly did just turn around to be an amazing year for us. So that was pretty cool to finally see. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. I feel like it took forever, but it's pretty cool to see it go down that way.
Yeah,
I'm so thankful to have a good year, considering,
Yeah, I bet it. I mean, it sounded like it all year. Well, since we've gotten to talk and stuff, that you were just really happy to be having the year that you were having. But
yeah, I'm not ungrateful for it by any means, because I know that it could go the other way next year, or any year, or any time, and just kind of just being thankful to be in the spot we're in is pretty cool.
Right, I like that. Kind of start off by walking me through your guys' runs.
Okay. Do you want to start with the first round, like the day we qualified, or just yesterday?
Let's do the first round too.
Okay. Our first one, I'm trying to think how far down we were. We were towards the bottom, and had a pretty good steer. Mm-hmm. And Tyler got it on him pretty fast. There was like a 4-5, 5 flat. Like there was a couple decent runs before us, but Tyler got it on him pretty fast, and I kind of took an extra swing, made sure I caught him because I knew I had a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. And we were right in the middle of the arena, so we got a good finish and stuff. We were 4-4, took the lead, and then Tanner and Patrick were after us, and they were 4-3 and bumped us to second. Mm-hmm. And then we flip-flopped the order the second day, so we had to go. They were first out, we were second out, and they made a good run. So we would they were like 4-3 again, or 4-2, something. They made a really good run. Mm-hmm. And then something like that. They were some kind of 4, mid-4, I think. Mm-hmm. And then so then we went our steer was decent, a little bit more than the first one. Tyler did a good job getting to him, heading him. I took an extra swing on that one, and we were 5-5 on that one. Just kind of made a sharp. We just thought if we made a sharp, clean run. I mean, there was enough teams after us that could definitely have bumped us. Mm-hmm. but at least they would have had to make good runs. You know, that we didn't want to really take ourselves out, so it worked pretty good. We just made two solid runs really, and advanced to the semis.
Right.
Of the top 8 round, and then we were 6th out in the top 8 round. And it was there was quite a few good runs, or a couple of good runs before us, so we needed to kind of go ahead and, you know, we knew we had a good steer, but he was sharp, kind of medium plus, so Tyler was pretty aggressive getting it on him, and I tried to ride a little bit more aggressive around the corner and take my first best shot, and we were in the middle of the arena, so he got a really good face and good finish, so we were able to win the top 10 round, which is pretty big, or top 8 rounds, which is a big advantage there just because it puts you last out in the final 4.
Right.
Then in the final 4 round, all 4 steers were really good. We picked all of them, and we knew everybody had a good steer, but first team out missed, second team out roped a leg, then Tanner Patrick made a really good, smart run, was 5-1, so it made it just enough to where we had to make a pretty good run to win it, but also we didn't have to just take a Hail Mary. It wasn't worth taking a major risk on, so Tyler rode his horse good all the way to the steer and headed him, set him up fast, and the shot presented itself, so I went ahead and took it. We were got a good finish in the middle of the arena, so made us fast enough to win it, but we were both okay with, and we talked before, we were both okay with winning second or third if we had to. But if it lined up right, we could take first.
I know you said being last does give some advantage or help at least. When you're watching that 4-man round and you see, a miss and a leg and things go down like that, how do you kind of stop yourself from either psyching yourself out, worrying too much about what was done, or trying to change your plan at all? Like, how do you keep your head in that moment?
For me, it was, we knew we had a good steer. It didn't have to make a crazy run to do what we had, and we both kind of been working on when we draw better steers or got a chance. He's trying to go all the way to them and set them up fast, and I can throw. So we kind of have a lot of confidence in that run.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of confidence in his horse being able to, not have to just reach every time. He can ride all the way to the steer.
Right.
And I think that kind of makes it a little bit relieving to where you don't feel like you're pinched into a certain game plan of having to pull off a shot or take a risk, or you can kind of go about it however you want. You have enough control in the horses and your run that you can make the run you want. So that was kind of what we stuck with. And if he didn't get the start he wanted, we'd have gladly taken second. Yeah. But so we just kind of went with that approach and worked out that a run happened to be fast enough.
Now, watching on TV, that arena looks like the wall comes so fast for you guys. Is that how it actually is?
It does, and if they come left hardly at all, it puts you in the wall. Or if you don't throw, if the header doesn't set the steer up in the middle of the arena, kind of leaves the healer. He runs out of room almost regardless if they don't throw in the corner. So that you definitely run out of room really fast, and kind of got to play the angles there. And it's definitely a place where the flaggers will hold the flag a little bit more too.
Yeah.
If they get pinched off, so it's harder on a head horse. So you really want to kind of use angles the best you can to be able to finish the run.
It might be a silly question, but does that add any pressure for you on the heel side to kind of throw as fast as you can? Even, more than you already are wanting to, but.
Right. It does. If, depending on the steer and the situation, Tyler did a pretty good job keeping him in the middle of the arena and holding his horse up to where he's, if your horse drops their shoulder, it gives that steer's head back a little bit, then it really puts you in a spot where you can't get finished. So I think it does, knowing that kind of gave me a peace of mind that I didn't have to panic or rush or take a bad throw. So I just wanted to try to get around the steer and be aggressive as I could without taking a bad throw, and try to get as good of a finish as I could.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Was that Juice that you were riding there?
Yes.
What made you decide to ride him there?
I started riding him my black got a little bit sore around Tremont.
Oh, really?
And not bad. He just, I could tell I'd been riding him quite a bit. He was a little sore in his back and stuff. So I just went ahead and started riding. I started riding Juice, which I had kind of ridden him some this summer anyway, and jackpot on him and stuff. But I went ahead and started riding him. He felt really good, started working good. So I just, I got my black worked on when we got to the Northwest. I gave him a few days off, and I practiced on him, and he felt really good. But I just kind of got in a good rhythm on Juice, and he worked really well at, Ellensburg and Filer and Walla Walla and Kennewick and Bremerton, all those rodeos. I think I'd only messed up like one steer on him at Quarter Lane, was like the only one I messed up on him really in the Northwest. So I just felt confident on him, and it was kind of a hard decision because I planned on riding the black, but then I just felt like I kind of got tapped off on Juice and wanted to keep giving him a chance.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So Tyler and I talked not too long ago, and we had talked about the format there in Puyallup and how you guys kind of had Saturday to hang out more or less. And I was kind of curious how you feel about formats like that and the sudden death round aspect of it too.
I think it's a little bit easier if you do run them both on Saturday, just because you can kind of get tapped off and get a feel for it, run them close together. But
makes sense.
There's really no way around. They take 4 out of 12 and you're set. So you're roping against the guys you're competing against. And we roped, it's kind of a catch-22. We were at the end of the first round, so we got a good feel for it. But then we're at the very beginning of the second round. So kind of goes both ways. If you go early in the first round, you know what you got to be in the second round. If you go late in the first round, you get a good feel for it. Kind of know who's caught, what everybody is, but you got to go at the beginning of the second round. So I think it's just you kind of got to play the circumstances, and you want, if you're at the end of the round, you definitely probably want to be in the top 4, so that when you do come back and rope, you know that if you hold your spot, you're good. But if you go early, you probably want to get them down and then be able to know what you have to do. So you just got to kind of play the scenario and situation and see what it is. The format is good. It's I do wish it was kind of more performance based of how you go into the semis. Like,
gotcha.
If you did well in your set, I think you should be further down in the semis versus just a random draw. Which they do that in the final 4 round. It's based off how you placed in the semis, but I think that would be the only thing that would make it, I guess, any more fair to be able to, based off how you've done, you get to go later on in the semis. But it's kind of a unique format. I feel like everybody's got an advantage one way or another, whether you're first or last in the second round. You kind of get to play both sides, but there's definitely a little bit of strategy comes into play sometimes.
It sounds like it definitely depends on how you choose to look at it too.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could look at it. I think for us, like in the second round, the very first team out was Tanner Patrick, and they did real good again. So there was like 6 teams that could mathematically get us, but if we just take yourself out, you don't have a chance either. So kind of have to take the odds that if you make a good run and you were good or better on the first one, that they have to make great runs to get you. So and they all have to do it. So I just think you have to play the scenarios and kind of be able to stick with the plan that you want. Go with it.
It's understandable. I get what you're saying. So you guys going into Puyallup, I know it's not over just yet, but you guys were already in the top 8 of those standings too, weren't you?
Yes.
So you guys obviously, made it off of the top 4 in Puyallup, but kind of, were you less nervous knowing you were good in those standings, or was it still get in the top 4 to make it that way?
I definitely think it was less nerve-wracking because that really wasn't in the back of our mind as much, because we knew that we were high enough in the tour that there's only 2 rodeos left that you can get in. So we knew that, we were pretty safe for Sioux Falls. So we weren't as nerve-wracking. That wasn't that much on our radar as it was, but, it seems like rodeo, there's always a carrot in front of you that's dangling that you kind of whether it's to get into building rodeos if you've had a bad year, or whether it's get into a tour finale, or whether it's get into the NFR, or whether it's have a shot at season leader. It seems like there's always a kind of a carrot. And it seems like we are a ways out, but that was always in the back of our mind, just to do the best we can with the money that's in front of us, and see if we can get close enough to achieve that goal. So that was more on the radar than nerves for Sioux Falls or anything like that, just because we thought we had already got into there probably.
Kind of what I thought, but so
I'm not saying we would have played it a lot different, but you always think about it. I mean, instead of trying to win a first in a second round or something, or a good check, if you know that you're going to advance, then you go do what it takes to advance. You just don't. Sometimes you don't take as many risks if you know for sure that that's what's at stake.
That makes sense. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I know you guys already had the finals locked in and stuff, but it's still got to mean a lot to win a check like that. Kind of tell me how you're feeling after that win.
I think it's good just to finish out the Northwest like that.
Yeah.
And to win a nice check. And I mean, we're headed home and about to get busy jackpotting and things, and got a lot going on for that. I just think it's anytime you can win a good check at the end of the year to kind of finish this part of the season off is it's not always easy to win in the Northwest whenever a lot of times there's less teams, and a lot of times it's all the good teams, and steers are getting a little more uneven a lot of times, and guys are going at them. Either they're safe for the NFR and don't have the pressure, or they're trying to get in the NFR to catch up, or they have nothing to lose. So it just seems like the checks are always a little bit harder to come by this time of year. And anytime you win a nice check to finish off that part of the season is always kind of a good boost to momentum to carry into the fall.
Gotcha. Your boys looked pretty excited to be up there too. It seems like they were excited for you to get it, the win.
Yes, they were.
That's got to make it a lot sweeter too, to have them there with you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for them to be with us, and we kind of hold them off most of the fairs because we tell them that Puyallup's coming up, and that's what we're going to take them there. So we got like 3 days of fair time.
Oh, nice.
So they got plenty of it there, and I think their mom had wagered some Transformers at stake if we won the rodeo. So I don't know if they were happy about the Transformers or me winning, but either way, they were pretty excited about that.
So you guys are headed home. So what's next? What do the next couple months, weeks look like?
So next week there's 2 jackpots that we'll go to, and then we'll go to the World Series at Abilene. Then there's the Carter Robertson Memorial in Stephenville, and then we'll go to Amarillo, not the World Series, Amarillo, the ProRodeo. And then after that is pretty much just Sioux Falls as far as the rodeo season. So we'll just kind of prepare for that. And then we'll have futurities and stuff following Sioux Falls that we'll be getting ready for. So jackpots as well. There'll be 3 or 4 jackpots a week, and the futurities coming up. So should be pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, good deal.